Hello and welcome to the 5-2 Diet Podcast. We're here to help you lose weight and feel great with intermittent fasting. I'm Kate Harrison from the 5-2dietbook.com. I lost 31 pounds, that's 14 kilograms on this way of life, and I've written 4 books about it. I run one of the biggest 5-2 groups on the web, and I still fast every single week. Fasting is easy, flexible and free. This podcast will help you 5-2. Today we're heading for the Southern Hemisphere with our first chat with a successful 5-2er in New Zealand. Trudie McCallum works in retail and she talks about the 27 years she'd spent yo-yo dieting before discovering fasting. It's a story that I know will be familiar to a lot of us. She reckons she's lost and regained around 100 kilos over that time, not to mention spent a lot of money on diets to find they were unsustainable when they stopped, until now. I really hope you'll enjoy the podcast. We do have the odd overlap because there was a slight delay between the UK and New Zealand while recording. And stay tuned to find out about my new summer special podcast to go with the new mini ebook launching in June. Now, enjoy the interview with Trudie. Hi Trudie, and welcome to the 5-2 Diet Podcast. How are you doing?
I'm going good, thank you, Kate.
Great. It's fantastic to have you here, all the way from New Zealand. You're our first person in New Zealand to talk on the podcast.
You'll have to excuse my funny accent then.
There's nothing funny about it, although I'm about to say the place you live, and I know I'm already going to get it wrong, but you're from Taronga in New Zealand, which I know I've said totally wrong, so you say it right.
No, that's absolutely fine. Taronga in New Zealand is perfect.
We know that 5-2 has been growing right around the world, but I wondered if you'd like to tell me how you first heard about it.
I first heard about it when my husband told me about the documentary that was going to be on the Discovery Channel, I think it was. And so we thought, well, we'll give it a go and watch the documentary. We were quite interested in it, and then I kind of took the next step and bought a book. And then I thought there must be a 5-2 Facebook page, so I searched it and I found it.
Can you remember how many people? I started our group and it was maybe 12 people.
When I started there was 15,000.
Wow. And now we're up to over 40,000. It just keeps growing, unlike us.
Yes.
So tell me about your history then when it comes to dieting, because this has been going on quite a long time for you, as for many of us.
Well, I've been a dieter pretty much all my adult life. I can remember going on diets when I was about 14, when I didn't even really need to, but I thought I was fat. So, but I sort of seriously started dieting and paying for diet clubs and counting calories or points about 28 years ago now. And in that time, I have been yo-yo dieting on and off for the whole time, up and down. I kind of look at photos and think, is that a fat time or not a fat time? I sort of remember episodes or occasions in my life by whether I was on a diet or not. So yeah, it's been up and down for a long time. And this is the longest I've managed to stay at a stable weight. Fantastic.
And you estimate that you've both spent a lot of money and also lost and regained lots of kilos over the years.
I estimate that I probably lost at least and gained at least 100 kilos over the years. So that's quite a lot of weight and spent lots and lots of money, probably over $1,000, which would equate to about 500 pounds on paying to be weighed, basically.
And why do you think that hasn't worked or didn't work for you in the past?
I think because one of the main reasons would be I was on a diet. When the diet stopped and I'd got down to my goal weight, I went back to how I ate previous to the diet and it just started all going back on again. I think that's probably the main reason. Just you don't really you're taught how to eat, but you're not taught how to eat for life. Well, I wasn't anyway.
No, because actually a calorie-controlled diet of maybe 1,200 calories or somewhere around that is really hard to stick to long term.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And then when you come off that, you think, yeah, I can eat what I want now, and you do, and then you just put it all back on again.
How did being overweight or that yo-yo dieting affect how you felt?
I had low self-confidence, I guess. I always would hate going to buy clothes because I just didn't feel that I looked good in clothes. I would go into a shop and look around and just think, nothing's going to look good on me, so I just won't bother. Yeah.
And was it affecting your health?
Yes, I would say it has probably affected my health. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure from when I was about 40 years old, so it was quite young really, and the being overweight or the yo-yo dieting may not have directly affected that, but I think it didn't help anyway.
Being an optimum weight certainly does seem to have lots and lots of health benefits as well as the feeling of confidence. And you're in very much a public-facing job.
Absolutely.
As well. Did that make you feel a little bit self-conscious, especially the industry you're in?
In the company where I work, I mean, one of our biggest things is to have high self-esteem. So, really, I never felt that I needed to look good for my job. It was probably more about just needing to look good for my own self-esteem, really, if that makes sense.
It does. I think people outside don't see that much difference in you, but if you feel, I feel just a few pounds or a kilo here on there makes a big difference.
Yeah, other people wouldn't even notice probably, but you know yourself if you have gained a few pounds or kilos. A lot of it's right up in your head, it's your mind can play funny tricks on you, I know, but I know from all that experience that I definitely feel a lot more confident in myself if I'm a lot smaller than when I was at my higher numbers.
Definitely. So it was October 2013 when you started off, and how did you approach that first fasting day?
Oh, I had it all planned out. I kind of expected that it was going to be a little bit difficult, and I can remember feeling pretty hungry, as you do on a fasting day, as you know, probably around about in the middle of the afternoon where I would normally have some sort of a snack to tide me over. I started feeling quite fuzzy in the head and thinking, oh my goodness, is this what it's going to be like? And just didn't feel quite right in the head on that first day. But that was really the only time I've felt, you can do it, so you just keep doing it, really. And even now, if I have any tough days and I feel like I might be ready to cave, I just say to myself, well, I've done it probably over 100 times now, and I've done it that many times, so I can continue to do it.
Definitely. And what was it that you ate those first few times, and has that changed?
I pretty much stuck to the same sort of food, actually. I just find that for me, it's just keep it simple, so I know what I'm going to have normally. Because I'm a breakfast, lunch and dinner person, I tend to spread it out over the day rather than keeping it up till dinner, because to me it feels like I'm less deprived if I'm eating at my regular times. So for breakfast I would have a small bowl of cereal or Wheat Bix or All Bran, something low calorie with skim milk, and just about every fasting day I have a boiled egg and an apple and half a carrot, and then dinner time it would be either a salad with a little bit of chicken or tuna, or a soup or an egg, and just with lots of water and cups of tea and herbal tea in between.
You're quite unusual. A lot of us doing this have decided to go with 1 or 2 meals a day, but your example really shows that you can actually keep eating if you're planning quite well. You can get 3 decent, well, perhaps not big meals, but decent amounts of food during the day to keep you going.
Yeah, well, I find I pretty much have 150 for each meal, and then that leaves me 50 or thereabouts for anything else, like a coffee or something like that. Yeah, it's not a lot of food, but I find that having an apple at lunchtime takes quite a while to eat. Kind of tricks my brain into telling my stomach that that it's a decent meal.
What happened with
Yeah.
work? Did you tell people from the beginning that you were doing this, or was it a bit of a secret?
From what I can remember, I told them, I was open right from the beginning, and and now they just say, oh, you're on a fasting day. Oh, yeah, okay, that's cool. And in fact, one of my workmates, she started about probably 8 months ago now, and so her fasting days are a Monday and a Wednesday, and mine are a Tuesday and a Thursday. So pretty much every day of the week there's someone at work that's not eating. It's a bit of a joke,
So there's nobody bringing in donuts or biscuits?
Well, I do on a Friday because it's an eating day, but no, not on the other days. And actually, like tonight, we had a meeting after work, and there's always snacks. But I have the willpower to say no. So that's probably one of the biggest things, is knowing that you can say no.
And that you can eat normally the next day.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I know that tomorrow morning when I wake up, I can have a nice bowl of porridge or some lovely toast with marmalade and Vegemite on it.
So talking about those non-fasting days then, how did you approach those to begin with? Were you worried about overdoing it?
Yes, definitely. I was quite worried, but I think you've got to get over that and realise that you can eat what you want, but not as much as you want. It takes a little while to get used to it. And in fact, sometimes I think that maybe the non-fast days can be a little bit harder because it's not as structured. You've got more choice.
Yes. What kind of choices do you make then?
I do try to eat healthily, obviously, and with moderation, but every now and then I allow myself a treat. If there's a biscuit or a piece of cake, then I'll have it. And the big difference is that you can have it without feeling guilty about it. That's one of the best things about the 5-2.
I find that too, the fact that you don't feel like you've thrown the baby out with the bathwater. You don't feel like it's a disaster. And that means you're more likely to just eat what you feel like.
Yeah, that's right. And I think I've said before that you find that your stomach fills up a little bit quicker as well, so you don't want to eat as much.
I think that's true, and you have a sense of when you're full up, because I'd completely lost touch with what my appetite was like before starting 5-2. I would get confused about whether I was really hungry or not. Did you find that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to decide whether your stomach's hungry or whether your brain's hungry, and I know there's a lot of times when you think you're hungry, like boredom, for instance, you just want to eat, but you're not actually hungry. And another thing that I've found with doing this is that I don't mind being hungry, whereas before you'd have one pang of hunger and you'd be like, oh my God, what can I eat? But now it's like, it's okay, you're not going to die of starvation.
No, and lots of us actually find that on a fast day we feel quite alert. I certainly do. I feel kind of a little bit wired, but in a good way.
Yeah. Yes, it definitely doesn't affect my energy levels or, I don't feel sluggish at all on a fast day.
So let's talk about results then. What weight have you lost, and what's happened to your dress size, and all the rest of those things that happen on the outside?
Well, I'll give you the numbers. I started off at 83 kilos. I'm not sure how that equates to stones and pounds. And I'm now anything around 69 up to 71. Ideally, I'd like to stay under 70 and not go over it. But being a menopausal woman, it makes your weight fluctuate quite a bit, I've noticed. And also I was, as far as sizes go, I was bordering on a size 18 top. Now I'm down to a 14 top. And for dresses, skirts or pants, I was a 16, maybe an 18, and now I'm a 12/14.
Which must make shopping much more fun.
Oh, much more pleasant. I actually enjoy going to buy clothes now. I love it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I feel completely different about going into shops, because it's not also just the size. It's also, I found my shapes quite different. Have you found that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I found my waist again.
Great feeling, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think my legs have slimmed down a little bit too, but that might be because have been doing quite a lot of walking, and most of it's hill walking, so I think that's helped that.
So have you been doing more exercise then since you've slimmed down, or since you've been doing 5-2?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because I have the energy to do it, mainly, and because I think that doing regular exercise is probably one of the best ways to maintain your weight. It's kind of the key, really. Keep active.
How have people reacted to your weight loss?
People are always quite regularly, probably, I don't know, it's slowed down a bit now, but just about every day people would say, oh my gosh, you've lost so much weight. And I would be, well, I've only lost about 13 kilos, and because to me that's not really a huge amount. A huge amount of weight to lose would be like, I don't know, 3 or 4 stone or more. But obviously I've lost enough to make a difference. And most times people ask how I've lost the weight, and so of course I tell them, oh my God, you need to try this. And a lot of people have gone out and researched. Some people have come back to me with feedback that they've tried it and couldn't do it, but then there have been quite a few that have done it and also seen great results as well.
Yeah, I think that awareness is definitely increasing, and we're going out there and spreading the word just literally by being slimmer and fitter.
Oh, I know, yeah. People are kind of like, sometimes they give you a funny look and they go, but how does it work? What do you do? What do you eat? And how do you know what to eat? I think people think it's really something quite difficult, but really it's the easiest thing you can do.
It is so easy, isn't it? And it's so simple that I think because we've been told so many complicated things over the years, eat bread, don't eat bread, eat lots of little meals, that when something this simple comes along, it's actually a bit of a shock.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and it's just breaking so many myths, like the breakfast myth and eat little and often. It's unnecessary.
Yeah, really, eating well is quite a lot simpler than we've been told. Health-wise, have you also seen some improvements with your blood pressure you mentioned?
Definitely my blood pressure has improved. When I do go and get it tested every 6 months, it's generally quite high because I have what they call white coat syndrome. I don't know why. It's not that I feel nervous about it, but anyway, when it's tested after a while, it's usually perfect. And also my cholesterol, when it was last tested 18 months ago, had lowered considerably, and also my blood sugar levels had lowered considerably as well.
And that was just after a very few months of starting to do fasting, wasn't it?
Yes, it was only about 3 months after I started.
Have you got any tips that you would say to people who are looking at doing this for the first time?
Yes, definitely. I'd say make sure you plan what you're going to eat for the day. Know exactly what you're going to have, and then there's less chance of deviating. Drink water, drink herbal tea, drink normal tea or coffee. I still put a splash of milk in it on a fasting day. I think just drinking the liquids helps your mind think that you're putting something in your stomach. It might not necessarily be food, but it does actually trick you into thinking that there's something in there. Just keep it simple, really.
Have you found the group help?
Yes, definitely. There's always something coming up on the news feed about it all the time, and it's good to see that other people are feeling the same way that you do. You don't feel so alone in your hunger, I guess, is a good way to put it, and there's good meal ideas, and also just tips. And often people are asking questions, and I think, oh yes, I would quite like to know the answer to that, so it's great.
You said that you were dieting on and off for 27 years. How do you now feel about 5-2 and intermittent fasting? Is this something you're definitely going to stick to?
Yes, I intend to. When I first got to my goal weight, I went down to just 1 day a week fasting, and I think it's what you do as well, Kate. You flexi fast. If you think if you had quite a full-on few days, then you just do it twice a week, or just once a week just to keep it off. That's what I intend to do anyway.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. And you can't imagine a time when you'd fall off the 5-2 wagon?
I can see a time, because in approximately 6 weeks, we're going on a 1-month holiday. My husband and I are going to the UK for a wedding and a big family catch-up. So I know there's going to be no fasting days during that time, but I know I can get back on it when I get home and lose the weight that I know I'm going to gain while I'm there.
That's the other benefit. Well, I went to Australia for the first time last year. Didn't make it as far as New Zealand, unfortunately. A whole month of eating out, fantastic wine, and yeah, it was pretty much gone within the month of coming back. So,
well, that's the thing. It doesn't have to be a big, massive ordeal to go back on a diet and lose all the weight. You know, you can just get back on it.
Did you believe, or the person that you were 19 months ago when you were starting on this, did you believe that this was going to be the answer for you?
I think I thought it was worth a try. I was actually quite optimistic about it. I thought, you know, if a respected doctor endorses it, then surely it's going to be beneficial to me. I was a little bit dubious about how I would deal with the fasting days, but you just get on with it.
And now what would you say to other people who are maybe not sure?
I'd tell them just to give it a go. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I just want to add in there, if my husband can do it, then anyone can do it.
And how has he got on, actually? I didn't ask about Kenny.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's lost 10 kilos as well in the same amount of time. It's definitely been easier for both of us, I think, both embarking on it together because, well, for a start, it makes it easier on a Tuesday and a Thursday because we don't have to actually worry about cooking any dinner. But we support each other and sort of, how hungry are you? And just look forward to breakfast, really.
That sounds perfect. That's ideal. Trudie, thank you very much for joining me. A few little interruptions there. Part of my dog and partly the very long distance between us. But it's fantastic finally to speak to you and hear how you've been spreading the word.
Oh, you're welcome. If only I could help one more person become happy and healthy, then it's fantastic.
I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and don't forget you can see Trudy's before and after photo on our website. Go to the 5-2dietbook.com/podcast 12. And now I've got that news of an exciting new summer special podcast coming soon. It goes with my new ebook, 5-2 Summer Ready, which is a collection of some of my favourite recipes and tips from my 4 5-2 books, plus lots of new hints and ideas. The summer special podcast features a great meditation to relax and inspire you, plus tips on how to boost your fasting results ready for the holidays, my take on the whole beach body ready controversy, and lots of ways to make the most of fasting all year round. Just subscribe to the podcast via iTunes or my site to be sure you'll get it as soon as it's available. Or take a look at the ebook. Details are on the 5-2 Diet Book website. And thank you for listening.